Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Imperial Glory. So I just right off from last. Well, I'll do this again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Imperial Glory. Straight up, I've done it again. I just keep losing my train of thought randomly. I'm really sorry about that. Right, so from last turn, we made several liberations of European territories from the Prussians. We've gained a huge amount of sympathy points with them thanks to that, which means we're now in the process of actually considering diplomatic annexation by building consulates, but it's still going to be a few turns before they're actually finished. And thanks to me freeing all these territories, my gold income is now going back up because I'm freeing up the trade routes from Prussian control. And I think next turn I'm going to march towards the Prussian capital right here, where there'll no doubt be lots of fights to be had as all of these Prussian armies start to march their way over to protect their capital. Well, I get the feeling that these armies are going to stay where they are just to protect Lombardy, even though it's more important to protect your capital, because if your capital goes, you lose. But as soon as I hit end turn, we're going to end up with a fight with the Egyptian forces in this military academy here. But once that's over and done with, we'll then begin on the march towards Prussian territory. It's a bit of a more substantial force than I feared. We haven't got any cavalry of our own anymore, and these militia are just 3 in number. But all of these are melee, so our best bet is to literally adopt square formations and then hope for the best. Because all of my troops have been weakened now, all of my grenadiers and such, some of them fairly substantially. They do have quite a bit of experience to their name though, thankfully. So hopefully they'll be able to hold their own well enough, and these 3 militia, they're just cannon fodder at this point. Alright, we're just about to come in range. I don't know if I'll actually bother trying to form up a battle line to shoot them. I'll probably just advance forward. They're charging now. Adopt square formations, all of you. And you militia, just stay in the back. You guys run for it. Right, so unfortunately these militia, they are practically going to die as soon as something hits them. Well, at least it will stop them from actually charging my squares, since these guys are... That's it, walk through my squares actually. They actually decided to charge themselves. Well, they have been massacred, but at least it distracted the cavalry for a little while. Okay, these light cavalry failed the charges, the militia are going to keep on failing the charges. So I guess, unless the lancers break one of my formations, which I hope doesn't happen... Why are you guys moving? I'm guessing they're repositioning. As long as it doesn't cause them to break their squares. I suppose I could try and be cheeky and occupy one of these buildings, but then the militia could attack the building, and then I'd essentially just be taking unnecessary casualties. Although now, my guys actually should have a slight height advantage, which means that they'll get a slight bonus to gun damage. Right, their light cavalry are no more. It's just the lancers left and the militia. The militia are no threat, it's just the lancers we need to worry about. With tightly packed squares like this, I'm not sure if having multiple squares in one area would decrease the chances of a successful charge into a square, but either way, these lancers, these guys are just exhausting themselves now. The militia, they're completely tired, they're of no threat. I would try and maybe put one of my guys in line formation so they can get off some proper volleys, but I don't want to risk them being charged either by sneaky lancers or by the militia who actually happen to retreat into them, which causes a melee battle. So now that they're exhausted, it takes them a while to get back into line, so maybe I could try and set one of these, perhaps these grenadiers up in the line formation. So the militia are coming back, they're moving now. Just don't move when the lancers charge, that's the important thing. If we can avoid engaging them in a direct battle, then we can essentially get off this scot-free, minus the 3 Arabian militia, who sadly had absolutely no chance. There's just one Lancer left now. Once these militia make a charge and then retreat, we'll get ourselves... Okay, they're going for them. No, they've changed their minds. They're now retreating. See, this is what happens. If I'd have put these guys in a line formation, I learned this when we attacked Paris. They, technically while they're retreating, they would have retreated into these guys, which if they weren't in a square, would have started a melee fight. Now once these guys, depending on which way they go, which just so happens to be towards the guys I was thinking of putting in a line. Yeah, there's just 2 left. They're gone, right. We're not going to waste any more time. We're going to put these guys in line formation and attack. And run for it while you're at it. You guys, you were going for a melee attack, weren't you? You gits. Still, oh, they're going to end up retreating now. Back the square held. Form line. Good, you're actually going for a gun attack. I'm not sure why. It seems like infantry sometimes decide to go for a melee charge even when you order them to go for a firing line. Still, whatever the case, this was a clean victory. Much better than last time. Only 5 casualties, so I guess a couple of the infantry did fall to Lancer charges in the squares. But this was excellent. The siege of Cairo has begun. So let's just see how the progress is doing. Well, it should be done next turn. 48% complete, so maybe a turn after. But now I think it's time finally to actually invade the Prussians on their own territory, which could be a much more interesting fight. So it's mainly the cavalry that are weakened, which is to be expected, but we do finally have Colonel Hope, who's finally arrived in Europe after a heck of a long time. And 2 more turns until the consulate is built, and they still are 100% sympathy with us, and hopefully nothing happens to change that. Got a bit of money behind us. Hang on. Do I already? Oh, I already have the means to get firing ranges. Right, buildings, how much are they? Oh, I already checked this before. We need a lot of money for it. Still, if we can get Wellington and Moore and Picton to generals, and they all get access to an extra troop slot each, that's 3 more units we can have in this big army here. Which, if we fill it with cavalry, maybe another piece of artillery and infantry, then we've got ourselves a very solid army. So now I have a little bit of a dilemma, or a decision to make. So I've got myself a good solid army here ready to make the move into Prussia. With the exception of the fact that the cavalry is rather badly wounded at this point, and it's going to be my main fighting force. Especially since they always field lots and lots of cannons and militia. So I could spend a few turns waiting for Colonel Hope to show up with some reinforcements. Because let me think, he's already moved, so it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 turns for him to get to Brandenburg Palace, which is the capital here. But I'm thinking I could make the advance, because when I do attack, there's no doubt going to be a standing army there, if not out in the field, then in the academy there. Plus, of course, they'll no doubt rebel a few times, like they did in Paris, before I can annex it. Plus, they're no doubt going to flood the area with all of these reinforcements. They're mostly militia, nothing to worry about, but we do have some cavalry, admittedly slightly wounded in this force, and a tiny amount of infantry, or ranged infantry here. So it's mainly a lot of militia, which aren't a big concern thanks to the beauty of the square formation. But, you know, I think we'll move these. I don't want to wait any longer. We're going to move these guys to Brandenburg, and then Colonel Hope can make his way over while the battles are going on, and then we'll no doubt take some losses in the fighting. But once the main battles are over, Colonel Hope should show up in time to reinforce Moore and his force of cavalry. So you know what? I'm going to go straight in. In the meantime, yes, it's going to take 2 turns for the consulate there, 2 turns for the consulate there. Belgium is pretty much guaranteed to annex, and if Hanover's sympathy towards us doesn't change or doesn't get any lower, then we'll still annex it anyway thanks to the bonus from the consulate. So that's all good. And we shouldn't have to worry about anyone else annexing them, since they're all pretty much at half. So, once again, Wellington, you are going to lead the charge. Let's go. And I believe that should... And if need be, we can also send in the likes... This isn't as scary of a force, mostly cannons. The cavalry can deal with the cannons easily. And the Congreve rockets might actually come in quite handy here. Well, I think they're mostly intended for use against troops. All artillery should be able to do something against buildings. They'll most likely garrison the palace if they've got ranged infantry, and our Congreve rockets can outrange them. So that should be everything. We should also get Egypt either next turn or the turn before that. But if nothing else, we're no doubt going to have some fighting on our hands depending on what's at Brandenburg. Who's this then? What do you know? Lots of cannons, but no ranged infantry. So, we can send the horses to maybe skirt around the militia, draw them out a bit, while we adopt square formation. And I don't see this being that much of a difficult battle as long as we deal with the cannons. So, welcome to the Brandenburg Palace. Sorry. Oh, these Prussian lands, they make me ill. Yep, really. Sorry. So yes, it's plenty of garrisonable space. I think the defenders start behind the palace, or the square behind the main building, right there, and they can easily garrison it from the rear, I believe, and then fire outwards onto us. But of course, they didn't think to garrison any ranged infantry here, so we essentially have, well, they won't be able to garrison the buildings. We can essentially walk around here at our leisure, with the exception, of course, that there are cannons to deal with. So yeah, as you can see, the militia... Oh, they're quite badly weakened. I didn't think to actually check that. So no, they don't have actually... They've got 1 full strength at the back, but our cavalry can take care of this easily. Let's go. And in fact, the militia appear to be abandoning the cannons with the exception of these 8 men here. So yeah, I can essentially... Now the full... Let's go. The militia are probably going to stop us from firing at one of them. Yep, 2 of my horsemen got caught in there. They're actually trying to shoot at them. Stop them. Okay, deal with those guys. You're good, you're good. You're clear. Excellent. Right. Horses, get out of there. I don't want you guys taking unnecessary casualties. I can essentially just send up some units of infantry, adopt the square formation, and we'll be clean. I want to make sure the Congreve rockets are protected though. Sorry. And look at that, they've even got a nice little fountain here. Hello. They're actually coming to us. Can you get a volley off? They've stopped charging. They're exhausted, that's why. What are you guys doing? Right, stop. Adopt square. I said adopt... Okay, you are adopting squares. I thought... You guys are getting a bit confused though. I thought you were adopting the line formation. Hit line and attack. There we have got another lot coming this way. Now you guys have nicely lined up. You should be able to get off some nice strong volleys. Nice. Alright, stop. Don't want to take any risks. Well, I'd like to deal with this nice and quick and cleanly. We don't want to lose troops needlessly. Get in position. Okay, that's a square. Good. You're clear. Unfortunately, when they charge, sort of, they are annoyingly good at doing this when sort of time their charges, so I can't actually safely adopt line formations. I have to stand. Although you guys, less, I don't want to risk it. Then again, if they do get in a fight, there's only 10 of them. You know what, screw it. Okay, if you guys serve as a barricade to stop these guys from advancing, you guys can land a shot off, hopefully. Okay, you will get a damage penalty because you were shooting through these squares, but outside of that, hang on. You guys have taken some losses. I don't know if you wounded before or if we actually took some friendly fire or something. Oh, look at this. So we didn't actually take any casualties. They were wounded before, but look at this. Wellington. We didn't need the firing ranges for Wellington. He's become a general on his own. He's that damn good. Oh, Wellington. Wellington. And of course, this was an excellent battle for his promotion, 107-0. So, Prussia's responded. Actually, they've finally gotten these guys to attack Piedmont. However, for once, we're actually going to be the defenders, and it's not going to be a lopsided defence where I forgot to properly garrison one of my capitals like it happened versus France and when I was attacking Spain and France came in to interrupt. This is a proper defence, but I outnumber them. So I can easily garrison my soldiers inside buildings and deal with their infantry. And of course I've got one cavalry unit for each of their Hausiters. So that's not going to be a problem on that front. I feel good about this. So if you will take a look at the lay of the land right now, we have a lovely nice village at the very top of the hill, which is an excellent defensive position. We shall of course line up right here. And we shall let them come to us. Oh, the horses are rather bunched up thanks to that fence. So this is the current setup. My grenadiers do have slightly less range than the riflemen, so I've put the riflemen in the house at the back where they'll be safe and where they've still got good visibility. And the grenadiers are located at the fences out the front. And they are coming across the bridge, and with a bit of luck they might actually send their infantry too far forward and leave their cannons vulnerable to a cavalry charge. So I'm going to have my horses off the side of the fence, although I'm not sure if I'm going to have to reposition if they're going to be a bit crafty and come from a way that my fence is, that these guys, yeah, I'm probably going to need to reposition these guys. Okay, abandon that position. Adopt a line and come over this way. They've pretty much left the cannons on their own now. Get over there. You fools! You're trying to be crafty and surpass my defensive line. You have left some men behind. And they don't appear to have realised their error. My horses just charging right past them, screaming their lungs out, and I think they might have seen us now. Whatever the case, it's a bit too late to do anything about it. They've exhausted themselves running out here. And now my horses, they are going to take some hits, but it's only 2 horses lost so far. Come on, get in there. One of the problems of being caught on a bridge like this is that no casualties. Come on, get in there. Okay, you guys get out. Okay, good. They're following those guys. Unfortunately, because it's a bridge, we were a little bit slow in killing them. Oh, you can lure them into my battle line. Okay, You guys come over here now. You guys break into a run. Oh dear, I think we just took a volley. We've lost more horses. You guys get yourselves back onto that fence, actually. Because from the looks of it, yeah, I think they were in a line formation. We did take another volley. But my horses can actually be a bit sneaky now.
Your army is winning the battle.
Run, you fools! Okay, come over here. Their militia has abandoned their light infantry. Oh no, they're coming back now, but I think my horses could probably secure the kill before they get involved. Maybe. Oh, they're coming back now, but they're in the fight. That was a clean kill. What are you doing? Oh, I'm not sure what you guys are doing here, but you were dangerously close to being caught in another melee fight. We don't really need to be occupying any buildings now. We just need to let these militia completely exhaust themselves and... They've run away. Well, that was a nice easy victory, minimal casualties. So, let's actually pursue. I think we got him. Only 8 casualties to 193. Now, this actually works for us. I can release them, and while they will gain some population back, it won't actually matter because I'm about to take the Prussian capital, and this will increase sympathy for us, which will make it easier for those diplomatic annexations. And I think this means they've completely left Lombardy exposed. So, we've released the captured soldiers. We've now got a bit more sympathy across the continent. So now they have sent in some reinforcements, and these ones are ranged infantry which will occupy the palace, and annoyingly enough, of course, more Hausaders. If they didn't have cannons, my plan would be to simply use the Congreve rockets to hit the buildings and flush the infantry out, but that's not going to happen, so I might need to be a bit tactical. So unfortunately, this is quite common when it comes to besieging empire capitals. As you saw with Paris, you often have to fight on the same map again and again and again and again as the enemy keep on sending in reinforcements, and you have to deal with constant rebellions. So yes, as you can see here, they've occupied the main area of Brandenburg Palace and the 2 barricades out in the front. So now they have, from the looks of it, because of the resolution, it's a bit distorted, so I can't tell exactly, but I think they've got plus 10 range, which gives them 80 meters, and these guys are plus 25, which gives them 95. But that means my Congreve rockets still outrange them. But of course, their Hausaders have the same range as my rockets. I think my best bet is to line up the infantry and try to get the Congreve rockets in range. I think if they get to the fountain, they should be in range of the barricades. So I've got some of my infantry lined up quite nicely here, and I've gotten my Congreve rockets as far towards the fountain as they can. And annoyingly enough, they're just in the border, although they might be if I limber them up. I'll try and get them to land a shot. Maybe this will draw their attention. It's gotten them to abandon it. Briefly. It's caused them to abandon the barricades, which is something. If I keep them limbered up here, and if they advance any further forward, so I know that from here, so the Hausaders, they'll probably have range as soon as my infantry start to reach just past the fountain. So I need to keep that in consideration. Yeah, I'm no doubt going to take quite a few casualties from this, and the horses are probably going to have a very bad time, because I need the horses to hit the artillery quickly. Hausaders aren't as effective against infantry compared to the likes of 6 or 12 pounders, but they will still hurt. In any case though, I don't think I'm going to have any choice but to accept some losses. So, I don't think they're going to move any further forward. I think we're going to have to come to them. So unlimber the artillery, and then set my guys. Where'd the others go? Oh, they're over there. What are you doing all the way over there? Still, there's no use delaying it any longer. Annoyingly enough, these hedges actually block us up, so we can't make a proper advance. But we're going to have to accept some casualties. So, yeah, I know from experience that if we try to go into those forests on the side, that will put us within range, because they're quite wide forests. So yeah, they're limbered now, they're going to be firing. We should be in range, however, though. Limber you up. No, you're just going to be out of range. Unlimber. They're not firing at us, though. Come on, surely now. Okay, you're in range now. Limber up. Ouch, here come the losses. But my men are experienced. Oh, and they're shooting us from the palace now. Okay, we're targeting their artillery with my artillery. I don't think that's really an efficient use. My men are highly trained and experienced, though, so hopefully... Yeah, we're firing at each other now. Their Grenzes are taking a lot of losses. But those guys are down. Not you guys. Get in that building and kill them man to man. Because they're hurting. And run! Get in there. Those Grenzes are pretty much gone. And I think this means that we're engaged in melee combat now. They're 8 left, they're not going to be a problem. These guys are dead. Right, all of you get in there. I'm not sure if we can have more than one unit in there at once, but either way we've got men... Yeah, I think it's just one at a time. So we've got one unit of grenadiers in there engaging light infantry in melee combat, and since light infantry are very bad in melee combat, we're not going to have any issues. They're taking 10 casualties at once. And one of my men is up there on the balcony who's levitating and stabbing one of them in the face. Or he's just making violent gestures. And he's dead. And there's another one who's just teleported up there to hit that guy. We've got some fighting going on in the windows, and now he's just taken a defiant stance there, and so's he. We own this building now, you fools. See, our infantry has taken a few losses now, which is unfortunately inevitable. However, eventually, we've got reinforcements coming in from Colonel Hope. And we've got lots of other men in here right now who are just helping out by shooting at the building. I'm not sure if that's killing more of us than they are of them. Oh, well, there's one guy left. And we're firing like madmen now. Well, we won though. We took quite a few casualties, but we won. So, victory in Brandenburg. 87 casualties. I think this is the first battle we've fought in quite a while where we didn't lose any horses. All of our casualties are purely infantry. So, the siege of Berlin has begun. And of course, Colonel Wellington has been promoted to the rank of general. And foreign policy has been advanced, but it's still going to be quite a while before we get those freaking military hospitals. Commercial espionage. Alright. And yeah. So, in terms of what happened, first off, Colonel Hope is going to move into Paris. So, Sweden has now just attacked Denmark by occupying Norway, which, well, is interesting. And secondly, because, as I think I said before, by attacking Piedmont, the Prussians have just completely left Lombardy completely exposed. So, of course, Captain Calder at Uxbridge are actually going to just... Oh no, they've got units equipped in the academy, but I wouldn't expect much from them. And then watch me suddenly find a huge army in there. So Egypt is definitely going to fall next turn, and they've only got one rebellion tick, so unless they're feeling particularly annoying, it's not going to rebel, and we're just going to take Egypt right there and then. And then Ponsonby and Haworth can take a break, while we slowly build up troops in preparation for the march on the Ottoman Empire and secure the rest of the Middle East. In the meantime, I think... So how much are we getting per turn? Not a lot. We're no doubt going to have to fight off many rebellions. In the meantime, I think we need to reorganize some of our troops. Yeah. I want to have as many full strength units as possible. Well, it's not going to change the amount of troops we have, and there's no point having just 2 units, so I'm going to merge these guys in. And then Picton, you can give one of these guys to Wellington, because I do not want Wellington to fall. Hope is going to get there in 1, 2, 3 more turns. 1 more turn until we secure the Helvetian Republic. And I think there was only 1 point of sympathy for Hanover, but it counts. I'm not sure if it... They don't actually have any rebellion ticks right now, but they have moved their troops into neighbouring territories like Poland and such. So we're going to have more company to deal with before long. And outside of that, I'm saving up my resources to build those firing ranges. I'm not training any more troops. But no, once we... I'm going to definitely be training troops in Egypt once I get the necessary facilities. Outside of that, yeah, I'm not going to be doing much. So I think all we can really do is just sit tight and constantly fight Prussia again and 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 again. And before eventually Berlin will be ours, and no doubt Hope's reinforcements will be a big help. All they had left is 1 unit of their favourite type of artillery, Hausiters. So I would auto-resolve this, but I just know that I'm going to take unnecessary casualties if I do. Most likely in the infantry. Well, I can easily take this with absolutely no casualties whatsoever by just sending in the horses. So, welcome to Lombardy. We're not going to be here long. All we just need to do is send in 1 glorious charge, and then that will be it. Look at these guys. They're just trudging along, wondering, oh, of course they had to leave us behind to be the garrison of Lombardy while they went to take over Piedmont. We've missed all the action. And then all of a sudden, they're going to see a huge swarm of horses charging over this bridge as they move to secure this church. And they're going to think to themselves, oh dear. And this could probably be a test. This would probably be the first time where we actually secure a battle objective before the... Yeah, the defenders get kind of screwed here. Because the actual main defensive locations, the attackers could probably reach them before the defenders do. They're hit, they've seen the horses now, and they're thinking to themselves, oh bloody hell, we're screwed. Except they wouldn't say bloody hell because they're not proper British. They're frickin' Prussians. Now the question is, they are going to get a shot in, and because my horses... We lost 1. Or did we? Yeah, we lost 1. 1 poor horseman. I should have probably spread them out a bit more, but either way, 1 loss compared to 3 cannons. I'll take it. I'm kind of curious as to what the auto-resolve would have been. I'm guessing it would have taken more than 1 casualty. Probably. So, we now have the option to retreat or betray them. And if we betray them, then we're going to lose all the sympathy we've built up, so we will not occupy it. Yeah, this is going to happen a lot, unfortunately. They've already gotten up to 3 rebellion ticks, and they've moved these 2 troops into Berlin. They've got, I think, 2 more in Poland ready to reinforce. Why they wouldn't send 3 at once, I don't know. But they are no ranged infantry, just Hausiters. So we can easily take these guys out with just the square formation and the cavalry. And it's actually only just 1 Hausiter. Well then, I'll have the cavalry move up here to the side. See if maybe we can sneak in one unit. Although I don't want to draw the militia's attention. I want the militia to focus on the infantry. In fact, I'll have 2 guys stay here at the back. These hedges might actually work to our advantage in sort of slowing down the militia's charge. So if you want to remember the range, they should be able to shoot us. once we get to just beyond the fountain. These militia have gone way over to the side, so if I can get these two to charge me, then that will be these houses just completely exposed. And even if they do get one shot off, it's only one house at a shot. It won't do much. Well, there are some guys coming over here which I will need to keep an eye on. We'd be well in range of that house by now, but it's not limbering up and shooting at us. So I'm thinking if I bring up the Congreve rockets behind this line of infantry, well, I'd leave a bit of a gap for it to shoot through. And then maybe I can get some pot shots off on the militia, and that should encourage them to charge, which will leave these houses vulnerable. That's the plan, at least. We're just about in range of the houses now, so I'm going to see if we can get a shot. Here we go. That's caused a response. That wasn't a kill. Come on, see if we can hit them. Well, that was a direct hit, but it wasn't a kill. So I'm going to pull these guys back and then have you lot. Well, they're charging right towards. Bomb square. Protect the guns. Oh, they're charging on this side as well now. Oh, you. Did they not form squares quick enough? God damn it. And now they're retreating. Oh, geez, the guns are vulnerable now. Right, you guys easily dealt with them. I'm guessing you just didn't form the square quick enough. Okay, the guns are being a bit exposed now because these guys... Oh, for goodness sake. We're going to lose the Congreve rockets. God damn it. Just deal with their houses. This was kind of my fault by actually sort of bringing them into conflict, because it was with this amount of militia, it was pretty much a guarantee that they'd find a gap. That's a tactical screw up on my part. Still, we killed their houses, and this, I don't think the Congreve rockets, they weren't really doing much. It's a shame though to lose such a brilliant piece of British engineering. Still, all that's left now is to slowly work our way through the rest of the militia here. In fact, maybe we can sneakily secure the battle objective. And don't go that way though. We want to make sure the militia focus on the infantry. Although these guys are charging towards the horses now. Well, I was going to I did sneakily send the horses around to secure the control point, just to spite them, but the infantry killed the remaining militia before that happened. So unfortunately, tactical screw-ups by me did cause the loss of 10 good Grenadier Guards and the Congreve rockets, but I don't really think the rockets were doing a huge amount. Still, they took a hell of a lot more casualties than we did. So, we've saved Lombardy. Helden Republic has become part of our empire, and so's Hanover. They've given us all of their stuff as a gesture of goodwill. And so has Hanover. And Egypt as well. Quite a lot of currency actually. Oh yeah. So I can't actually see the total amount because of the DX recording numbers, but we've got enough of firing ranges. We've still got some to spare. So Egypt, we can now... Oh, hello. The Russians have taken over Greece and the Balkans. So the Ottoman Empire is literally just composed of Anatolia, which is this massive territory here. They've got Yusuf here with no troops. They've got Muhammad Ali with militia, line infantry, and houses, of course, and some units in the academy. So, I think this army here, I mean, that could easily deal with these guys. They would take some losses from the cannons and the line infantry, but it would be, depending on what they've got in the academy, it would still be a victory. But I don't want to take unnecessary risks. I'm going to build a basic academy here, so I can get some militia of my own recruited. And while that's doing, I'm going to get Ponsonby to just in case they get any ideas, give your red coats to Haworth, and then make your way back to pick up these 10 groups, 10 soldiers here, because every soldier here is a big help. And with that, we now have some militia of our own and even more militia. So I can easily train up a captain and have the militia under his command to secure Prussia once we conquer it. And thanks to securing these territories, we can also see that, of course, they did have Poland. I think all they've got left is Brandenburg and Poland. And, of course, these Austrian territories, which I don't know whose command they'd come under. But all they have left is 3 militia and cavalry, 2 militia and line infantry. So lots of militia, that's no threat. Cavalry, that's a bit of a threat, but we can deal with that easily enough. And these guys, they will occupy the building, but thankfully, no more freaking cannons. And of course, Hope is on his way over. We've taken some losses, but so I think Hope can essentially give us all of his troops. And outside of that, we've got a lot more map knowledge now thanks to securing these. And because we saved Lombardy, Batavia is looking to be quite a promising candidate. Lombardy as well, that's in good shape with us. How about these guys? 72, 84. I might see about going for diplomatic annexation, but I don't know. Batavia definitely though, 96%. All we need to do is just build a consulate, and as long as that doesn't get any lower, that's an instant annexation on their part as well. So things are looking good. And of course, building wise, they didn't have a huge amount. Well, they can advance, so we can actually build 12-pound cannons. So for whatever reason, in foreign territories, we can't build 6-pounders, but we can build 12-pounders. Which is interesting, but I actually kind of want those. Because they're primarily used against infantry, which we're seeing a lot of. They'd be more effective than concrete rockets. Because I'm guessing from their descriptions, concrete rockets are ideal for stopping charges through intimidation factor. That's something worth considering. Especially since they're fielding such large amounts of infantry, although most of it's militia. I think cannons are more effective when they're fielding large amounts of line infantry or ranged infantry, because the cannons outrange them easily. Either way, I think I'm going to call an end to this episode here. And the next episode, you're no doubt going to be seeing a lot of the Brandenburg Palace, because they're going to be constantly rebelling and no doubt constantly sending in more and more troops. So yeah. We're going to be seeing a lot of that. Hopefully the battle for the Austrian Imperial Palace won't be as bad, because they're in no position to recruit lots and lots of troops. And the Russian capital, I don't know. Oh! Wait, is Norway its own territory? I thought it was part of Denmark. Unless... I'm guessing the Swedes have occupied it now, but either way, that's not a capital province though, and I can't see Sweden. I need to build a Department of Information in order to see that, but if I'm at maximum relationship with Sweden, that's a perfect place to annex, because that gives me a staging ground into Russian territory. Maybe when I secure Batavian territory, or maybe Denmark. Denmark doesn't have much in the way of troops, so if I could spare Hope for one more turn, maybe? I don't know, I'll consider it, but I'm going to call an end to this episode here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed, and that I will see you in the next episode where, as I said, you're no doubt going to see a lot of the Brandenburg Palace. It's inevitable. But we'll get through it eventually. See you then.